Hello, hi guys. This is CA Balakrishna from Lecturepedia.in. Welcome to revisionary audio clips on CA Final Audit. Before starting the revision, let me just remind you that if you wish to watch revision lectures, you can visit our YouTube channel CA Balakrishna Kovuru, and if you wish to purchase our lectures or order books, you can visit our website www.lecturepedia.in. So with this brief introduction, let us start the revision of standards that are related to quality control. So in this revisionary clip, we will be revising the two standards which are related to quality control. So what are the two standards which are related to quality control? Yes, obviously they are SQC1 and SA220. Now, first of all, before discussing those standards, let us first of all understand what is the relevance of this quality control in case of an audit firm. Now, if you see, let's say for example, there is a manufacturing company. This manufacturing company, it manufactures certain products. Now, after the manufacturing process has been completed, at the end of this manufacturing process, there will be certain quality checks that will be performed on the product, because the product that has been manufactured has to satisfy certain quality requirements, right? So in the same way, we auditors, we provide audit service. Just like the product has to be as per certain quality requirements, even the auditing service or any other service that we auditors provide has to satisfy certain quality related aspects. So the quality related standards that has to be satisfied by the services that the auditor provides are discussed in these two standards, that is SQC1 and SA220. Now if you see, first of all, there are two standards SQC1 and SA220 which are dealing with the same concept, that is quality. Now why there are two standards that are dealing with same concept? Basically the thing is, SQC1, it is applicable at the entire audit firm level. Now if you take an audit firm, it will not only take only audit engagements. Apart audit engagements, it will also carry on various other assignments like assurance engagements, review engagements, and other related services, and it will also provide various consultancy services, right? So quality has to be maintained in all these services that the firm provides. So that will be dealt by SQC1. And coming to SA220, SA220 is confined only to the audit engagement that the firm takes up. Okay, hope you are clear with this. SQC1 deals with all the services that the firm provides. Okay, SQC1 speaks about quality that has to be maintained in all the services that the audit firm provides at the audit firm level. Whereas SA220 speaks about the quality that has to be maintained at the specific audit engagement level. Hope that is clear. So this is the basic difference between SQC1 and SA220. And another difference is in SQC1, that means, see, whenever I use the term SQC1, you should remember that we are speaking about quality at the firm level, and whenever I use the term SA220, you should remember that we are speaking of the quality at the audit engagement level. Okay, now in SQC1, the responsibility to maintain quality in the entire firm lies with either CEO of the firm or the managing partners of the firm. Basically, in the audit firms, there will not be CEO, there will be managing partner, right? So managing partner will be having responsibility to ensure quality at the entire firm level. Whereas coming to SA220, engagement partner will be having responsibility to ensure quality at the audit engagement level. So this is another difference between SQC1 and SA220. Hope that is clear. Now we will be first of all discussing SQC1. Okay, and the same discussion that we have made in SQC1 with respect to audit firm level, the same discussion we will be making in SA220 also. Okay, the points will be same. Basically, we will be seeing 6 elements of system of quality control. Okay, these 6 elements, they are present in SQC1 as well as SA220. Okay, the similar points. So once we complete discussion of SQC1, the discussion of SA220 also gets completed mostly. Okay. So, first of all, we'll start with discussion of SQC1. Now, the name of this standard. What is the name of SQC1? It is quality control for firms that performs audit and review of historical financial information and other assurance and related service engagement. See, this is the name of this standard. It is so huge, right? So the name of this standard itself signifies that this standard SQC1 is applicable at the firm level. If you see, quality control for firms. For firms which are performing which type of engagements? Which are performing 4 types of engagements. What are they? Audit, review of historical financial information, other assurance services and related services engagement. Okay, so SQC1 covers entire firm. Hope that is clear. Now, what is the objective of SQC1? Now, the basic objective of SQC1 is to establish a system of quality control. Now, this term, system of quality control, is very much important. In a little bit while, we will be understanding what is meant by system of quality control. Okay, so first of all, the objective as per SQC1 is to establish a system of quality control. Now, why this system of quality control has to be established? So as to provide assurance to the firm that all the engagements that the firm takes up will be conducted as per PLR requirements. Now, what is this PLR requirement? See, here P stands for professional standards, L stands for legal requirements, and R stands for regulatory requirements. So, whatever the services that the firm provides, they have to be as per this PLR requirements, that is as per professional standards, legal and regulatory requirements. So, to ensure that the services provided by firm are as per this PLR requirements, system of quality control will be established. So, this is the first objective. And the second objective is, after conducting the service, the report that the firm issues has to be appropriate in the circumstances. So, the second objective is to issue appropriate reports. Hope that is clear. So, briefly, these are the 2 objectives as per SQC1. Now, what is meant by this system of quality control? See, system of quality control is nothing but certain policies and procedures, okay, that will be framed within the firm. Okay, so these policies and procedures has to be followed by all the engagement teams that are present in the firm. If you follow these policies and procedures that the firm has established with respect to the quality, it will be deemed that you have achieved the quality related requirements in your engagement. Okay, now basically system of quality control means, you can remember it like this. It is like a document that will be prepared by the firm, and in this document what will be there? There will be policies and procedures related to what? Related to quality. Now these policies and procedures related to quality are there, na? They are categorized into 6 elements. So that means in this system of quality control document, there will be policies and procedures with respect to 6 elements. Okay, now what are those 6 elements? Let me tell you those 6 elements. So the first element of system of quality control is leadership responsibility for quality within the firm. So there has to be a leadership responsibility that has to be fixed to ensure quality within the firm. There will be a discussion with respect to this first element in the system of quality control. And the next element is ethical requirements. Next, policies and procedures with respect to acceptance and continuance of client relationships and specific engagements. And next, the fourth element is human resources. With respect to human resources also, there will be policies and procedures in the firm's system of quality control. Next, engagement performance. And finally, monitoring. So these are the 6 elements of system of quality control. We will be discussing each of this element in detail in this coming revisionary clip. Hope that is clear. So now you can remember these 6 elements with a mnemonic: leadership. Okay, so the first element is leadership responsibility, right? So in the word leadership, the first letter is L. So L for leadership responsibility. Next, in the word leadership, the second letter is E. So E for ethical requirements, which is the second element, right? Next, in the word leadership, the third letter is A, right? So A for acceptance and continuance of client relationship and specific engagement. Next, in the word leadership, the fourth letter is D. Now, instead of this D, you have to remember H. H for human resources. Next, the fifth letter is E. E for engagement performance. Now, all these 5 elements has to be continuously monitored. So, monitoring is the 6th element. Like this, you can easily remember the 6 elements of system of quality control. If you remember the 6 elements of system of quality control, the standard is completed. Okay, the entire standard is speaking only about these 6 elements of system of quality control. Okay, and I told you that SA220 is also similar to that of SQC1, right? So these 6 elements which we are going to discuss in SQC1, we will also be discussing the same 6 elements in SA220 also. Okay, the same 6 elements will be repeated, but from the angle of the audit engagement level. Hope that is clear. So now let us start our discussion with the first element, that is leadership responsibility for quality within the firm. Now I have already told you, at the firm level, the leadership responsibility for ensuring quality has to be taken over by managing partner or CEO of the firm. So you should remember that at the firm level, the leadership responsibility for quality lies with managing partner or the CEO. Okay, so this is the first point. Next point. Now, every firm will be having a business strategy, right? After all, we are doing a business, right? Even audit firm is also doing a business, but it is providing a service. Okay, a responsible service it is providing. So, since it is providing a service, the business strategy of the audit firm should should not have overriding requirement over the quality. That means quality has to be given utmost importance than the business strategy. Okay, business strategy is secondary. Quality has to be taken as the primary requirement by the audit firm. Okay, so this is the second point that you need to remember under leadership responsibility. That is, firm's business strategy is subject to overriding requirement for the firm to achieve the quality. That means quality has to be given more importance than the business strategy of the firm. Hope that is clear. So these are the 2 points that you need to remember under leadership responsibility. Hope that is clear. Now we'll move into the second element. Just a second. Yes. So the second element, what is second element? E. E for ethical requirements. So there are 5 ethical requirements. If you see, we have discussed about these ethical requirements in professional ethics. We have also discussed about these ethical requirements in SA220, right? So what are the ethical requirements? There are 5 ethical requirements. First one, integrity, objectivity, professional competence and due care, confidentiality, professional behavior, right? So all these ethical requirements has to be complied with all the engagement teams. Okay. So in the system of quality control of the firm, there will be policies and procedures that will be established to ensure that all the engagement teams in the firm will comply with these ethical requirements. Hope that is clear. Along with these 5 ethical requirements, there is also another important requirement, that is independence. Okay. Independence is most important, because if you see the audit report, the heading of the audit report itself is independent auditor's report, right? So auditor has to be independent. If there is any threat to his independence, he cannot perform his assignment properly, right? So in the firm's system of quality control, there will also be policies and procedures that will be established in order to ensure independence. Hope that is clear. And with respect to these independence, basically all the staff of the audit firm, they have to give a declaration to the firm stating that we are independent of our clients. Okay. And if in case during the year, if you have obtained any interest in any of the clients that the firm is having, you have to disclose that interest to the firm. Okay, who the staff of the audit firm has to disclose their interest in any of the clients that the firm is handling to the firm. Okay. So this declaration has to be given at least once in every year. So this is with respect to the ethical requirements. Next, moving to the third element, which is acceptance and continuance of client relationship and specific engagements. Now here if you see, in this third element, there are 3 aspects. First one is acceptance of new engagement from the existing client. Second aspect, acceptance of new engagement from new client. Okay. And third aspect is continuance of existing engagement of the existing client. Okay. So these 3 aspects are dealt in this third element. Now, whenever audit firm is accepting any new client, or whenever firm is deciding to continue the existing engagement, it has to consider certain points. What are they? First of all, firm has to verify integrity of the client. Okay, this is the first point. Integrity has to be checked. Integrity of whom? Integrity of the client has to be checked before accepting the engagement or before deciding to continue the engagement. Next, competence of the firm's personnel has to be checked. Okay, we are accepting the engagement. After accepting the engagement, whether we can discharge our duty or not. In order to discharge the duty, there should be proper qualified people available with us, right? Only then we can properly provide the service. So you have to check whether the staff that are available with you are competent enough or not, right? And the third thing that you need to check is, after accepting the engagement, during the performance of the engagement, whether you will be able to comply with all the ethical requirements or not. So these are the 3 points that you need to ask yourself before accepting the new engagement or before deciding to continue the existing engagement with the existing client. Now here, while asking about, while verifying about integrity of the client, some of the points that you need to see is, you need to see what is the nature of business of the client. Okay, in what type of operations the client is involved, and what is the attitude of the client towards maintenance of books of accounts, towards following accounting standards, towards establishment of internal controls. Okay, what is the attitude of the client towards these aspects? You need to consider this before, you need to consider this point while verifying the integrity of the client. Next, you should also see whether in past client has involved in any money laundering issues, and you should see whether client is imposing any limitation on the scope of work, and you should also see whether client is continuously trying to maintain the fee that he is offering to the firm as low as possible, right? And another point that you need to consider in this integrity is, see, basically client has come to you. Now, before he has appointed you, some other auditor would have been performing this work, right? So what is the reason behind client shifting from previous auditor to the current auditor? What is the reason why he has shifted to you, why he has approached you? You should also consider this point in deciding the integrity of the client. So these are some of the points that you need to consider in deciding integrity of the client. Hope that is clear. And so yeah, that is the third element, which was acceptance and continuance of relationship with the client. Coming to the fourth element, which is human resources. See, in case of services, basically like audit service, the main resource is human resource, right? Human beings will perform the audit, right? So here it is at most important that firm hires sufficient personnel with sufficient qualifications to perform the work. So at most importance has to be given to the human resource. Proper qualified people, sufficient personnel has to be hired. Okay, sufficient personnel with capabilities, competence and commitment to perform the engagements has to be hired by the audit firm. Okay. So this is with respect to the human resources. So in human resources, you have to remember that firm has to hire sufficient personnel with appropriate capabilities, competence and authority to perform the work. Okay. Next, coming to the fifth element, which is engagement performance. Now, in engagement performance, the actual quality of the service will be achieved in this engagement performance, right? So in the audit firm, continuously there should be a briefing that has to be done to the audit engagement teams about the quality. Only then engagement teams will perform the work such that it is of utmost quality. Okay, so there should be continuous briefings to the engagement teams about the quality. And next, during performance of the engagements, if engagement team faces any difficulties or if they need any guidance on any matters, they should be open for consultation with people within the entity or with people outside the entity. Okay, if at all there is any requirement to take advice from any expert, they have to consult the expert. So consultation with other people will increase the quality of the work that you are performing. And there is this concept of engagement quality control review. We will be calling it as EQCR. Now basically this EQCR, it is mandatory for audits of listed entities. Okay, for audits of private companies, it is up to the firm. If they want, they can keep this policy of EQCR, otherwise it is not mandatory. Okay, now what is meant by this EQCR? First of all, the audit, it will be done by the engagement partner, right? So engagement partner will perform the audit. Now after the engagement partner has performed the audit, this work will be reviewed by another partner or another member. Okay, so we'll call him as engagement quality control reviewer. Okay, so engagement quality control reviewer will review the work that has been done by the engagement partner. Now you should remember that engagement quality control reviewer must be a chartered accountant. Okay, whether he can be employee of the firm or partner of the firm or he is from another firm, that is irrelevant, but he must be a chartered accountant who is in practice. Hope that is clear. And more about this engagement quality control review we will discuss while discussing SA220. Okay, and another point that needs to be considered in this fifth element, that is engagement performance, is differences of opinion. Now, I have told you that the work that has been done by the engagement partner will be reviewed by the engagement quality control reviewer. Now, if in case there are any differences in the opinions of these two people, then they have to be properly resolved before issuing the audit report. Okay, until and unless the differences are resolved, audit report should not be issued. And to resolve these differences, they have to follow the procedures that has been established by the firm. Okay, whatever the firm's procedures says with respect to resolving these differences, that procedures they have to follow. See, the procedures will be like the the firm's policy might be to approach the senior most partner in the firm, and whatever he says, that will be final. Okay, this could be one of the established procedure that the firm might have established to resolve the issues. So like this, different firms might have established different procedures. Those has to be followed with respect to resolving the issues. Okay, and another aspect is engagement documentation. See, here you need to ensure that all the documentation with respect to the engagement that you have carried on should be completed within 60 days from the completion of the engagement. Okay, from the date of completion of the engagement, within 60 days you have to finalize all your documentation. This is with respect to the documentation. So, and in case of audit engagement, the documentation has to be maintained for a period of 7 years. Okay, so the retention period of documentation in case of audit engagement is 7 years, whereas in case of other engagements, the firm has to decide for how much period of time the documentation has to be maintained based on the legal requirements or based on the requirements of various authorities that are applicable. The firm has to decide for how much period the documentation has to be maintained in case of other engagements. Whereas coming to audit engagements, there is a fixed period of 7 years up to which you have to maintain audit documentation. Hope that is clear. And obviously this audit documentation is property of the auditor or the audit firm. So these are the 4 points under engagement performance. So we have discussed the fifth element, that is engagement performance. Under fifth element we have discussed 4 points. What are they? In case of difficulties, there has to be consultation. We have discussed about engagement quality control review, and we have also discussed about in case of differences of opinion, how they have to be resolved, and we have also discussed about engagement documentation. So all these 4 points are covered under engagement performance. Okay, now coming to the final element, that is the sixth element, which is monitoring. See, all this system of quality control which the firm has established has to be continuously monitored to check whether this system of quality control, that is the policies and procedures that you have established, whether they are designed appropriately or not, whether they are properly implemented or not, and whether they are working properly or not. And in case there are any new developments, new amendments, new regulatory requirements, as per the change in the regulatory requirement, you have to update your system of quality control. So for this purpose also, the system of quality control has to be monitored continuously. Okay, and while monitoring this system of quality control, if you find that any person is not following the policies or procedures that has been established, what are the action that you are going to take, even that you need to decide. And if you find any loopholes in the system of quality control, the remedial actions has to be planned properly, right? So for all these purposes, monitoring has to be done continuously. Okay, what has to be monitored? The system of quality control has to be monitored continuously. Hope that is clear. So yes, these are the 6 elements of system of quality control. By this we have completed discussion of SQC1, right? I guess we have almost taken some 30 minutes to complete SQC1. Now, since you are having idea of SQC1, it will hardly take 5 minutes to discuss SA220. So now we will discuss SA220. Before that, let me have some water. Yeah. Now coming to SA220. If you see the name of the standard SA220, it clearly states quality control for audit of financial statements. So the name itself has restricted its scope to audit only. Okay. Now you should remember that SA220 has been developed in line with SQC1, and even in the firm also, at the firm level will establish quality control, system of quality control based on SQC1, and engagement partner at the engagement level, he will establish certain quality related aspects in line with the system of quality control that the firm has established. Hope that is clear. So in order to implement quality at the audit engagement level, there has to be first of all system of quality control at the system of quality control at the firm level. Both are interlinked. Okay, if you don't have system of quality control at the firm level, it will be difficult, or you cannot implement quality at the audit engagement level. Hope that is clear. And now let us quickly discuss all these 6 elements which we have already discussed in SQC1. Now coming to the first element, see, you have to remember that till now we have discussed these 6 elements from the point of view of firm, okay, at the entire firm. From now onwards, our discussion will be from the point of view of audit engagement level. Okay, just our point of view will change, but the discussion will be same. Okay, now starting with the first element, which is leadership responsibility for quality on audits. Now at the firm level, leadership responsibility was with managing partner, right? But at the audit engagement level, leadership responsibility will be with engagement partner. So it will be the responsibility of engagement partner to ensure that quality will be there in the service that he provides. So he needs to ensure that the work that they performs will be as per PLR requirements, that is professional standards, legal requirements, legal and regulatory requirements. And he should also ensure that the firm's quality control policies will be followed while performing the engagement, and the report that he issues for the audit engagement will be appropriate for the circumstances. And he should also ensure that the engagement team will be there. They are well aware of the quality related aspects. Okay. And they should be having proper ability to perform the work. So all this responsibility with respect to the quality lies with engagement partner at the audit engagement level. So that is the first element, which was leadership responsibility. Now moving to the second element, which is ethical requirements. The same discussion, the same 5 ethical requirements have to be complied while performing the audit engagement, and also independence should also be there while performing the audit engagement. It will be the responsibility of the engagement partner to ensure that all the engagement team is independent of the client. Okay. Next, coming to the third element, which is acceptance and continuance of client relationship. So if you see this third element, it will be mostly from the firm's point of view, because whether to accept an engagement, whether to accept a new engagement or to continue the existing engagement, this decision will be there. It will be mostly 90% it will be taken at the firm level. Okay. So at the firm level, this decision would have been already taken. Now at the engagement level, the engagement partner has to once review whether the decision that has been taken at the firm level holds good or not. He has to just review at the engagement level. That's it. Okay. So that is with respect to acceptance and continuance of client relationship. Next, engagement performance. Now here, it is a responsibility of the engagement partner to direct, supervise and perform the audit engagement in accordance with the professional standards and regulatory and legal requirements, that is PLR requirements. So here engagement partner has to direct, supervise and perform the audit as per PLR requirements. Hope that is clear. and it is also responsibility of the engagement partner to appoint engagement quality control reviewer, EQCR. Okay, so obviously, as I have already told you, it is mandatory only in the case of listed entity. So if engagement partner is conducting audit of any listed entity, after conducting that audit, it is the responsibility of the engagement partner to ensure that a engagement quality control reviewer will be appointed, and engagement quality control reviewer will review the work that the engagement partner has done. And as I have already told you, EQC reviewer must be a chartered accountant. Okay, and another point, auditor should not issue audit report until and unless the EQCR has been completed. Okay, in case of listed entities. Now, in case of this engagement quality control review, what will be reviewed? First of all, the EQCR will discuss significant matters with the engagement partner. Okay, significant matters means the important matters that have been arised during the audit. Those matters will be discussed with the engagement partner, and the EQCR will also review the financial statements and the audit report that the auditor is going to issue. And EQCR will also review the documentation that the auditor has gathered. And EQC reviewer will also evaluate the conclusions that has been reached by the engagement team and the engagement partner. So these four elements will be evaluated. What are they? First one, significant matters. Next, financial statements and audit report. Next, audit documentation. And finally, the conclusions that have been reached by the engagement partner. All this will be reviewed. And yeah. So that was the fifth element, engagement performance. Finally, monitoring. Obviously, this monitoring of quality at the audit engagement has to be done by the engagement partner, and this monitoring will also be done at the firm level, right? So at the firm level, as per SQC1, monitoring would have been done, and during that monitoring, if at all any inadequacies or if any loopholes in the quality has been found, the engagement partner has to see whether those how those loopholes will affect the audit engagement and how he can overcome them at the audit engagement level. Okay, from this point of view, the engagement partner has to think. Hope that is clear. So yes, these are the 6 elements of a system of quality control at the audit engagement level as per SA220. So by this we have completed SQC1 and SA220, and in the next next audio clip we will be meeting with another chapter, and I will be signing off. Take care. Bye bye. See you.